And
Almost doesn't count. In the words of
it,
Brandy.
it counts because the person that played that show was just like, what are we doing here with this 43-year-old mama? But yeah, we'll talk about what Venus was trying to do at Queens, and then she's got some wild card to go to Wimbledon. So we'll have to dive into that. Alcaraz is finding life on the grass green, but people of God, the one that is doing my head in, that's the one that is making my head, the water in my head to shake. Because yeah, there's water in my head.
Of course.
Arsenal's trade. What is Arsenal doing trying to buy Kai Havertz? Please, people, that one people must call in and explain to me what Arsenal and Kai Havertz have to do with each other. So we'll talk about all of that in the locker room. But before we do that, Zibby, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room?
All right, it's pretty easy. Just send us a message via WhatsApp 0809 444 981. You can also tweet at Smooth981. And you can join the live stream on YouTube. Hey, YouTube! Just search for Smooth981 and catch the live stream. Post a comment on there as well. Are you opening the phone lines at any point this morning?
Yeah, because of what Arsenal is doing, we have to open. It's Arsenal that used to make us open phone line. Arsenal.
All right, let me give you the phone number in advance so you don't have an excuse. 0144899981.
This is why I pronounce it Arsenal. If the Arsenal chairman should hear me, he would just beat me. Arsenal.
Arsenal.
All right, let's take the headlines first, and then we go through the rest of the stories.
Spurs take Phenom Victor Wembanyama with number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. That's an African name.
Yeah, but he's from France.
Oh, yeah.
You should know.
France is an extension of Africa, of course. Ostapenko knocks out Venus Williams in Birmingham. Queens Carlos Alcaraz beats Jiri Lecheka to reach first quarterfinal on grass. Yay! UEFA banned Mourinho for 4 games for abusing referee Taylor. Arsenal set to sign Chelsea forward Havertz, or in Tega's voice, Arsenal set to sign Chelsea forward Havertz. Man City's Gundogan set to join Barcelona. Canada players once pay disputes settled before the World Cup. Thank God this is not Africa.
Immediately I saw the news, I said, thank God it's not an African country. Because if we were to an African country, we will not hear word.
At all. Finally, Chelsea rejects second Man United bid for 50 million for England midfielder.
All right, so we start from the very first story. And, the French freak that is going to San Antonio Spurs and inspiring my love for San Antonio Spurs again.
It's a long time, right? There used to be this guy, Tony something, that was married to Eva Longoria. He was French as well, Tony Parker.
Yes, but he wasn't the main guy. Yeah, he's one. He was with them when they won one of the titles. Yes, that he cheated on her and buy her a new car. But that's story for another day. but we'll talk about the San Antonio Spurs. Let's go through that story.
So Victor Wembanyama era has officially begun in San Antonio as the Spurs made him the number 1 overall pick in Thursday night's NBA draft. 7'5". Is that a human or a giant?
That's
Goliath.
A human being, and so he's tall but he's small.
Oh.
Which is he's not the tallest I've seen. So he's not even the tallest I've been.
How tall was Yao Ming?
7'6". Then his wife was 6'11". Then they had a baby. Let's not even go into how tall she's going to be. But I'm sure she was the tallest baby they had seen.
Definitely in that hospital.
In the living room. Yeah. But yes, he is 7'5", but he has a wingspan of 8 feet. So that paint for San Antonio Spurs is going to be protected. And here's what is tricky about him, which is why people are saying he's a phenomenon. So for somebody that height, it shouldn't be easy to shoot the 3-pointer on 1 foot or to take some of the jump shots he takes. He does it with ease. And that's where, so when you see some people like that, if you watch Nikola Jokic, one of the reasons why people are oohing and eyeing over Nikola Jokic is how, with his size, he plays like a point guard, even if he's a center because of his size. But so you can imagine somebody that is taller than him by several feet doing the same thing. He moves with speed, and some people say, but he's 19, so how else should he move? But at that height, your legs tend to tangle. So why is he moving that fast at 7'6"?
Wow.
So it's all those things that make him brilliant. Gets the points, he protects the paint, he's very good defensively. So San Antonio Spurs have a good deal. Now, the last time San Antonio Spurs signed a number 1 draft pick, a big number 1 draft pick. In fact, the last 2 times they did, they turned out to be great Hall of Famers for the NBA.
Oh.
The first one was Dave Robinson. He brought San Antonio Spurs to the precipice. He was signed in, I think, 1987. He brought them to the precipice. Then the second one was my favorite guy, Tim Duncan.
Oh.
They signed him in 1997, and he brought San Antonio Spurs their 4 NBA championships. So Wembanyama has a lot to live up to, because you are now the third number one draft pick they're signing. You've come with all the hype. You better deliver.
You have no choice.
San Antonio Spurs did not do any trade last season. They're just like, we're going to play the war so that we'll get the opportunity, so that we'll win the lottery to get the number one draft. Because with the NBA, it's usually the worst finished teams, that get to get the best player. Or they do it that way so that there's not one team bigger than the other. Everybody has somebody to look forward to, and if they don't keep them, then they have the ability to trade them for money. So it's a win-win situation. But so huge deal for San Antonio Spurs to get him. I know it was not a secret. Everybody and their neighbor's dog knew that when Wembanyama was going to go to San Antonio Spurs. But they usually give teams, they'll give you like 5 minutes to make up your mind about who to take, because sometimes it's usually you're not just trying to pick a player that fits into your team, you're also trying to pick a player that you can trade. So they give you like 5 minutes to think. Now everybody knew San Antonio Spurs was going to pick Victor, but they took their time. They picked him in 4 minutes 49 seconds. Like, he was just there thinking, are these people really serious? Are they thinking this long before they could pick me? But they eventually called his name. So I can't wait to see what he will do in the NBA. And because of him alone, I'm going to go back to supporting San Antonio Spurs.
All right. Venus Williams narrowly failed to reach her first WTA quarterfinal in 4 years, as the American legend was beaten by Yelena Ostapenko in the second round in Birmingham on Thursday.
Yes, so really crazy match. So Yelena Ostapenko playing against Venus. We expected that, Yelena being a former Grand Slam champion, being still young, and her forehands, her ground strokes are amazing. Her serves are really brilliant. We just thought, she's going to, quickly take out Venus Williams. And especially after Venus Williams had taken out Camila Giorgi, so we expected that her next opponent will not play with her. So she steps on the court. Ostapenko takes the first set, easy peasy. We're like, that's what's expected. She was serving for the second set. Venus Williams came back and won the second set. Then went into the third set and was leading by 2-0. At which point we're just like, Ostapenko, this woman is about to knock you out. And I think it kind of rang in her head when Ostapenko sat down, and she was just like, I thought you were retired. It was after that going 2-0 down that Ostapenko started playing like she was on something. And she eventually came back, broke back, won the set. But after she won the set, she was just like, I can't believe she's still playing that way. I just can't believe it. So it's going to be a tough one now. Venus Williams has wildcard to Wimbledon. I will say it every time. If Venus Williams steps up to the plate and says she wants wildcard, they will give her. She's a former champion. She's won several Grand Slams, and she's Venus. So at the end of the day, if she likes, let her be 45 or 50. If she says she wants wildcard, they'll give her. It's just like if Roger Federer says, I want a wildcard to Wimbledon. They would dump half the they would dump half the draft just to get him on. So just don't even think about it. Don't argue. Don't ask why is she getting a wild card over other people. She's done enough to get the wild card. So anybody that just signed the first round will be like, I may beat her, but at the end of the day, I will expend more energy than I want to. And that's what the worry is. Sometimes you're going to beat an opponent, but it's just like, how much would I have left in the tank for the next round? So let's see how it goes for Williams.
All right, 0809 444 0981. That's the WhatsApp number. You can tweet at Smooth981 or catch the live stream and post a comment underneath. We're at Smooth91FM Lagos. Top seed Carlos Alcaraz, who is Tega's baby, by the way, reached his first career quarterfinal on grass with a straight set victory at Queens over Yuri Lecheka.
Yes, so it was interesting. So people have been talking a lot about what he can do on the hard court. People have been saying, especially what he can do on clay, but grass, again, because primarily he tends to get injured there, and he struggled there a little bit. So he had some, when they say something a lot, you start looking at the history and you have your own reservations. But he gets on grass, and his first match he struggled. He struggled with movement. He couldn't calculate the bounce. He couldn't read the other person's serves. He struggled all through. He eventually came through in the third set and won that match. Um, but now he's getting a hang of it. It's like, this grass is not so bad. If I now know exactly how to move. It's in between. It's not like clay that I can slide all through, but it's not like hard that I can't slide at all. So he's getting his movement and he's getting his rhythm. So he was not very hopeful about his grass court. But now that he's through to the quarterfinals, he's like, okay, maybe I'm not bad on this surface. Or maybe this surface is not so bad after all. But again, it's what you let people filter in, because sometimes you also have to look at details. If every time I run I fail, after a while I'm going to believe that running is bad for me. But I have to also think, maybe I was running on the wrong road, or maybe I was running at the wrong time and I couldn't see clearly. So you have to gauge for yourself. I think this is going to give him a preview into what he could do at Wimbledon, but it's a good build up for him. Yeah.
All right, and should we go on to the messages or on to the next story?
Let's do the next story first.
Okay, so AS Roma head coach Jose Mourinho has been suspended for the next 4 matches in the Europa League after he directed abusive language at Anthony Taylor while the club was fined.
Exactly. So everybody got a fine. I think Roma got a fine. They're going to pay like 55,000. West Ham got a fine. They're going to pay like 58,000. Everybody had different fines for everything, but Jose Mourinho's fine was extra, and it's because he directed abuses at Anthony Taylor in the car park, and he also went to the press conference to question Anthony Taylor, refereeing. Now, even though UEFA themselves are looking into Anthony Taylor's refereeing, they hate it when people do that to their referees, bringing the game into disrepute. And I think sometimes they spend more time punishing people for speaking out against bad officiating or questionable officiating than they do actually making the questionable officiating right. So yes, but that ban was always going to come for Jose Mourinho. The question was how much, and the fact was he has history. So for a 4-match ban was, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, it may sound like it's excessive, but it's exactly what I expect them to give Jose Mourinho after what happened at the end of the Europa final. So yes, even I think they're even going to get a partial stadium ban. The fans are going to, for throwing things on the pitch, they're going to get a partial stadium ban, so they can't sell a certain amount of tickets. So UEFA really came down hard on them, but the bigger one is that Jose Mourinho is banned. At this point in time, I think he should just be, crossing out matches, that he will not sit because he's banned from a lot of matches anyway.
Wow.
So yeah, it was always going to come down. So yes, UEFA is investigating Anthony Taylor's officiating, but they don't want you coming out and abusing their referee. All right.
All right, you're in the locker room on Smooth 98.1. Do stay with us. The show continues. Don't forget, we're streaming live on YouTube.
No, when you point your hand like that, you now shake your hip. You can't point your hand and just you point your hand and complete the dance.
Shake it like a TikTok dancer.
Oh, goodness.
Have you noticed how people on TikTok can really not dance?
I'm not on TikTok.
Sometimes you just see them random.
Okay, yeah, you see them on.
When you now see that handle, it's from TikTok, and you see all these.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is not dancing. Like, where is the flair?
They have the moves, but they don't have the soul. It's what I tell people, that they've copied the moves, but and so someone said, "Oh, don't say that white people can't dance anymore. See how they're dancing to Afrobeat." I said, "No, they've copied the moves, so you can tell that they're getting the steps.
But
it's not from
it's
from inside.
Exactly, it should come from within.
Yeah, there's a flair, there's a soul, there's an ease with which they don't have it.
Oh my
days!
It just seems robotic and mechanical.
Yes,
when they are doing all that.
Yes.
When you see an African woman dance,
they're moving, they're not dancing.
Yeah, they're moving. That's it. Oh dang! I hope nobody saw that. No! Oh my goodness! It's my prerogative.
Oh goodness!
It's the way that I walk in here. It's my prerogative.
So I decided not to wear the jacket, and all of a sudden I'm getting a little colder now. I think the place is now.
It is, yeah, it's chilly. And I have one that's just chilling around my waist. future forward banking.
I was going to come up without a blouse, and I remember Tega. It may be gym appropriate, but it's not studio appropriate.
Exactly.
So we'll come back with the message.
Okay. You're in the locker room on Smooth 98.1. Tega and Zibby with you this morning, 8:32 a.m. Get in touch. Let us know what you're thinking. 0809 444 0981. That's the WhatsApp number. You can also tweet at Smooth981 and catch the live stream as well. Let's go on to some messages coming through. This one is from Dozier. Dozier says, Havertz is a good player. Tega just doesn't like anything related to Chelsea. I know. I think Arsenal coach knows what he sees in Kai Havertz. He's one of Chelsea's best players. I don't know why they're selling him to Arsenal.
That should give you a hint, Dozier. Hint. All right.
Sounding not so great to your rivals. Okay, this is from Tayo. Tayo says, Victor doesn't need to jump to do a dunk. He just needs to hop, open and hide your nets. Watch Jose Mourinho overcome the ban in 4 minutes. So you can't call out bad referee, but you can be punished for calling it out. I prefer not to speak, otherwise I would be punished. And Emeka says, before Havertz moves to Arsenal, he was one of the best prospects in world football. That's the Havertz Arsenal sign. If there's one thing I trust about Arteta, it's resurrecting people's careers. The likes of Odegaard and Xhaka are typical examples.
How about Gabriel Jesus? Why didn't he resurrect that career? Or Jorginho? Why didn't he resurrect that career? Anyway, yeah.
Arsenal's next target will be getting the most expensive rice in the market. Declan Rice, calm down. Arteta is cooking.
All right, so let's read the next story. Then I'll break down the Declan Rice story for you.
Well, Arsenal are set to sign Chelsea forward Kai Havertz after reportedly agreeing a £65 million fee for the German on Wednesday.
All right, so here's my thoughts about Arsenal. You know, everybody, once I ask this question, people are saying Kai Havertz is not bad. Kai Havertz is not bad. There's no need buying 10,000 golden spoons when all you need is a knife. Any knife will do. Plastic knife, wood knife. It doesn't have to be gold. Just buy a knife, and that's where Arsenal's problem is. So Granit Xhaka has left. Partey has open talks with Juventus, so he's leaving. Arsenal's biggest problem is not Kai Havertz. So this is not necessarily about the player as much as it is what Arsenal needs to do. Now, Arsenal wants to spend 65 million on Kai Havertz. And remember, Manchester City has started eyeing Declan Rice. And they have more money. And more importantly, they've won more trophies. Now, if you were a Declan Rice and Lewis Hamilton is toasting you and Taiwo Rewire is toasting you, who will you follow? What are we talking about? Do you understand what I'm saying? Manchester City has entered this Declan Rice chase. Now, Arsenal's bid for 90 million for Declan Rice has been rejected. If they carried that 65 million and added some other money on top, wouldn't they buy the player that they need as opposed to buying a player that they want as replacement in case somebody injures or they can play him in different roles? Buy the player you need. The player you need is either a Declan Rice or a Caicedo. That's what you need right now. Those are the people you should be chasing first. Why are you majoring in the minor and minoring in the major? What you need is not Kai Havertz. He's a nice to have player. And you can play him in different roles. You can play him as a striker. You can play him behind the striker. You can play him in those roles. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that Kai Havertz. But that's not what Arsenal needs. They desperately need that midfielder. So what they should be doing is adding all their money together and buying a midfielder. Now, for Declan Rice, the reason why it's expensive, you have to understand, is English tax. He's an English player. Once an English player, the price goes up. If you ask me, I value Declan Rice in this market at maybe 70 million pounds. But because it's English, add 40 on top. Yeah.
Wow.
It's hard, but that's what it is. Which is why I think Jack Grealish went for 100 million, because me, my estimation, Jack Grealish is not worth more than 50. But hey, so ultimately, just add your money and buy the players you need. Not the players that are available. There's a reason Chelsea is looking at it and saying, Kai Havertz, you are free to go to Arsenal. There's some things you won't do now. You won't sell some good players to your immediate rivals. I told people when I saw Gabriel Jesus move from Manchester City to Arsenal, I said he's not as great as people think he is. That's why Pep Guardiola can easily wake up and say, take. Can Pep Guardiola today hand Erling Haaland to any rival in England? No, he'll send him to Real Madrid, knowing that okay, it's only Champions League and we may get the luck of the draw and not meet them. What are you saying? So ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not a question of whether he's good. It's a question of do they need him? All right. So the phone lines are open. 01
448991.
All right. Let's talk about this Arsenal trade. And what they should be doing, because again, everybody's saying they'll buy rights, but Manchester City has sat at the table with Declan Rice, which means that Declan Rice is closer to Manchester than to Arsenal at this point in time, even if he's already living in London. So let's take your phone calls. The number to call 01
448991.
Tell us what your thoughts are. Leave this. Stop counting. Yeah, people are not making plans on top of Declan Rice you have not bought. All right. So before we take those phone calls, let's read Tayo's message.
All right. Tayo says, I hope Arteta resurrects Havertz like he did Jorginho. Operation Stop Arsenal from Within is a go. Over to you, Banter Republic. Whoever signs Rice should do that Udumodu song. Tega, stop giving Arsenal advice. It's bias.
All right. Let's take the first call. Hello. Good morning. Yes, your name and your location, please. All right. If we can go right ahead. Tell us, what do you think about this Arsenal trade?
It's funny. This is the third time. I don't know whether third time is the charm for Arsenal, because we've been here before. And I don't know what Arsenal's obsession with Chelsea players, because there was Gallas.
Yeah, exactly.
Spent over 200 days on top of the table and relinquished to one Manchester side. Then they bought Jorginho again. Spent 248 days on top of the table and relinquished another Manchester. So I don't know which Manchester that they want to relinquish, but I don't know whether they want to try it again with Havertz. And I think my biggest annoyance is the value of the deal. I know Havertz was bought for 70-something million pounds, but at 65 million, that I don't even understand. I really do not understand the rationale behind Havertz. In fact, prioritizing a forward when you have already, I think, about 3 or 4 forwards,
yes,
and you are lacking 2 midfielders. It's just crazy it's just crazy really for us now.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's take another phone call. Thank you. Hello. Good morning. Your name and your location, please. Greg, what do you think about the Arsenal trade?
Yes, for me, I don't think Man City actually needs Rice, because they just don't want Arsenal to have him, because they feel he's going to add something to Arsenal's team. That's one. For Havertz, I think Havertz, yes, I'm an Arsenal fan, we don't really need him. But I think, like somebody said, he can resurrect his career and he will add something to the Arsenal team. But for Rice, though, he will just go there and turn to beans, because at the end of the day, he will not have that play time that he might get in Arsenal. So let him just come to Arsenal and play 90 minutes all through the season. They're going to sit on the bench playing for Man City. That is my take.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's take another phone call. Hello. Good morning. Your name, please. Hello. All right. Go right ahead. Tell us. What do you think about the Arsenal trade?
I think I should just prioritize on Declan Rice, even if they've got him kind of, but trust me, it's a question of what we need, not what we want. About not what we need. Declan Rice is what we need, because we need to shore up our midfield, defensive midfield. In as much as Partey has opened up talks with Juventus and Zaka's left, I think our top priority should be trying to get a like-for-like player, which is Declan Rice, and has proven to be a leader, by helping West Ham to win the European Conference League, and is very capable. So I think we should have gone first with Declan Rice. And then we can now begin to look at other options, to short cut whole line. So I think Arteta, no matter what he's trying to do, he's trying to be another Pep Guardiola, and to bring out the best in a player. Look at what he did first, then you look at what he wants later. That's my thought.
Thank you very much. Let's take one more call before we close these phone lines. Hello, good morning. Okay, your name and your location, please.
Hi.
Hiya. All right, so go ahead. What do you think about this Arsenal trade?
It's Juju that Kai Havertz is using. Somebody that scored 7 goals and had only 1 assist last season. He scored 8 goals and had 3 assists the season before. He's not any better than Timo Werner. He's just taller and lanky and has darker hair. So they should not waste their time. I'm a United supporter, but I love Arsenal. I feel very bad watching them go for this guy. It's a waste of time. I don't see how it adds any value to Arsenal at all. What they should be looking for is to bring in another sturdy midfielder. If you know you're not going to get Declan Rice because of cities on him, get somebody else. Maybe City will sell you Calvin Phillips that they don't need. But Declan Rice is a hard sell, but this Havertz is a super waste of time for me. I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I see where people are going with this. It's a total waste of time. And but Michael, I hope you are listening. Don't be doing anyhow. If what you need is what you need, then go for what you need. Don't do like a teenage boy. Go for what you need. All right. So let's take one more. Should we take? Okay. While we're talking about all this, Chelsea again has rejected another bid from Manchester United for Mason Mount. Manchester United is bidding him at 50 million. Now, my question simply is, why would you bid for an English player at 50 million? This boy is 24, which means already that's 50 million. Then when you add that he's English, that price goes up. I've told you, when you want to buy an English player for the EPL, the price goes up. So when Manchester United is ready, they will bring money. 50 million will not cut it. If I'm just myself, I'll reject it. All right, so let's talk about the Canadian players going to the World Cup, because what's happening? Because if again, so they haven't settled their pay dispute. And according to one of the players, she said, that they have not reached the level where they're not going to get on the plane, which is indicative to me that they could get to that level if 2 days to the World Cup they haven't seen their money.
Wow.
They will not get on the pitch. Wouldn't it be nice to have somebody else, not an African country?
Thank you, Africa.
Thank you, Africa. Not an African country in this dispute, but yes, the Canadian FA needs to sort out, that payment.
But isn't female football not a big deal in North America now?
It's a big deal, which is why this is a big deal.
No, I understand. So what is the delay?
They are refusing to budge. You know how it is a negotiation. They're haggling. So look, whatever happens is going to be big for women's sports. So I'm waiting to see how that turns out. All right, and that's all we can take on the locker room today. But before then, let's take your messages. We'll start with YouTube first.
All right, let's see. Okay, so Emeka says, is Tega saying Jesus did not improve Arsenal?
No, he didn't.
We have two targets. One is getting finished faster than the other. This message says we also don't seem to get it. Arsenal lost the league because they had no plan B. Havertz is a plan B. The coach that got Arsenal challenging for the title suddenly doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he didn't know what he was doing, which is why he lost the title, first of all. Emeka, so let me just answer you. You cannot get plan B if your plan A is not settled. Their plan A is not working. I just mentioned now that their midfield is going to be light based on the transfer talks are already going on behind the scene. Remember, Granit Xhaka has left. Partey and Juventus are dating. We don't know if they'll get married. So your plan A should be to show up plan A before you start thinking of plan B. All right?
Okay, Tayo says, things to add with Rice. If he goes to Man City, I'd never respect that club in my life. English Tax is working overtime on EPL teams. When he's a free agent, he should come and look for a club. I'll be his agent. Chimobi Victor says, Arsenal bidding that amount of money for Declan Rice, where 50 kg bag of rice is 40,000. I beg Arteta should look for a quality player for us, while Kai Havertz is a no-no for me. I don't understand the relationship between Arsenal and Chelsea. It's getting me upset. And this message says, Tega is generous with that Declan Rice valuation. He knows supposed to pass 50 million by his ability on the pitch.
All right. And that's all we can take on locker room. That's why people are in locker room. Because if we were in that English market, players would be going for cheap. You'll be haggling them like crayfish. All right. Thank you so much for your contributions on YouTube and on WhatsApp. And thank you for all your phone calls. Let's do this again on Monday. For now, Zibby.
Yes, indeed. Stay with us. There's a lot more to come. Lagos Talk starts in just under 15 minutes on Smooth 98.1.
Sorry. All right, people. Bye. How loud is it? Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I'm not.